Hey there, it's Doc from DocuDucko.com. It's been a while, hasn't it? So much has been happening in the gaming industry. So many big games are out. I must admit, I am obsessed with playing The Witcher 3 on Nintendo Switch at the moment. It's the best port I've ever seen. I can't believe they've fit that massive game onto such a small device. Today, though, we're talking about indie game developers, and in particular, a young man named Blake McKinnon, who's 21 years old. He's from Victoria. He's from Strathdowney in Victoria, which is down where I come from, in Mount Gambier in South Australia. So it's down near there. I also worked in Hamilton in Victoria there for a while, which is just around the corner. But Blake actually went to the same high school I went to. He's the cousin of a guy who I went to school with, Michael. Which is so crazy that so many generations or years later that you're talking to someone who went to the same school. And in fact, we have similar teachers as well. We spoke a little bit just off the recording about some of our favourite teachers, and in particular, big shout out to Mike Backer, who got big praise from both of us. He is such an inspirational teacher. He was my drama teacher, and really inspirational guy and lovely bloke. And if you ever get the chance, if you're down in Mount Gambier, you get the chance to go see Calamari for breakfast. It's his band. They perform a lot and they're really great. So check him out. Blake's put out this game. It's called Blood Breed. It's just been released on the Nintendo Switch, and it's an indie title. It's a brutal retro-styled survival horror with challenging gameplay and mature visuals. The nudity in it can be toggled on and off, which is great. Basically, it starts out, your car breaks down in a mysterious area. It's full of horrific human remains, and you're left to face a murderous maniac who's hunting you down. As you dive deeper into the story, you begin to discover the twisted and paranormal meaning to it all. Will you survive to see the light of day again? It's a great game. It's an indie title. It's so cheap for you to buy, and I highly suggest you buy it so you can support a great indie game maker so that we can see more games from people like Blake McKinnon. Here's the chat.
Super Nintendo.
Blake McKinnon for Blake McKinnon Productions. Thanks so much for joining me, and congratulations on Blood Breed. It's been released to the Nintendo Switch. It's a great game.
Yeah, thank you very much. Glad you liked it.
You've put a lot of time and effort into it, and is this your first game that you've put out?
It's the first game to be on consoles, but I've put out about 6 games before it, just free on PC.
Oh, yeah, cool. So that they would be available still through Steam Store or something like that?
They're on itch.io. They're not on Steam because they're only free.
Yeah, right, okay. Well, talk us through some of those games, and were they a stepping stone to getting Blood Breed released?
Yeah, pretty much. The first 2 games are 2D. They're made with Game Maker.
Yeah.
And then after I decided I wanted to make 3D games, so I started to learn Unity, and that's what pretty much all my other games are made with. That's what Blood Breed was made with. All of those games are pretty much me learning what I needed to know to make Blood Breed.
That's fantastic, and it really is it's a learning experience, isn't it? Because you probably started off, you didn't know much code and things like that, and you've learnt along the way.
Yeah, before I started, about 14 months ago, I'd never programmed in my life. I'd done some drag and drop style programming when I was younger, but I'd never written a line of code except for some really basic HTML stuff when I was in high school. So yeah, it was a massive learning experience for me.
At 21 years old, things have changed so much over the last few years, especially in schools where they're actually teaching code now. They wouldn't have been teaching a lot of it when you were at school, right?
No, I did a couple of IT classes when I was younger, but that was just more for programming for websites. I never did anything for making games at school, so
you're a bit of a late bloomer.
Yeah, a little bit. I worked with this program called Scratch when I was a lot younger, and that was very basic. It was more for getting kids into programming. You weren't actually writing line of code. It was more like drag and dropping, and it was just a way to sort of get you used to how it worked. So I did a lot of that when I was younger, but yeah, actually writing the lines of code myself has just been a pretty big thing.
And so was it formal training that you did, or was it just through doing the games that you learnt to code and create games?
Yeah, it's all self-taught through the internet. I've never been to school or done any classes for it.
That's amazing. Isn't it? Isn't it incredible that now you can, like, whenever you don't know something, you go straight to YouTube or to Google and you'll find out after a few clicks exactly how to do it and learn something each and every day.
Yeah, exactly. Like, I pretty much have learned to code through YouTube pretty much.
Yeah. Was that your go-to site?
Yep.
Yep.
Occasionally, if I couldn't find what I needed on YouTube, I'd just go to Google. But yeah, YouTube for the majority of it.
So Bloodbreed was released last week on Nintendo. It's available for, I think, $6.95. Is that right?
Yes, I think so. It's on. I'm not sure what it is full price. It was on sale. I'm not sure if it still is.
Oh, right.
Yeah. In America, it's $5.99. So that's whatever that is in Australia.
So the thing I like about the game especially is it reminds me of when I was younger playing my PlayStation 1 or even PlayStation 2 to some extent, when Resident Evil came out, and it's just such a Resident Evil style game. Was that part of the inspiration for building it?
Oh yeah, like PlayStation 1 horror games were the biggest influence on it for sure.
Yeah, so the games like Resident Evil, and Silent Hill when that came out was a big one too, and this game really takes a lot of the elements from that, and it's a real homage to those horror themed games, to the point that, you know, it starts off with your car breaking down in this mysterious area. It's just such a classic horror trope, and I really love that about it.
Yeah, so obviously Resident Evil and Silent Hill are pretty much the two biggest influences on the game, but also a lot of like 80s horror movies as well. I guess it's a little bit cliched, the car breaking down in the middle of nowhere, but yeah, that's sort of what I was going for, that sort of really retro horror style.
Yeah, it's certainly you pull it off so much. So you thank a lot of people at the beginning of the game, in the credits at the beginning of the game. A lot of family members, I'm assuming.
Yes, all my family and my dog.
Yeah, that's great. Did your dog do much coding?
Not too much.
No,
but definitely helps me out a lot with it, because when I'm just sitting by myself for most of the time, it's good to have a little companion.
It's that emotional support, isn't it?
Yeah, for sure.
So as you get deeper into the game, obviously it's very puzzle focused, isn't it? So it's the main idea of each level is to get the key and get to the door at the end of the level without getting slaughtered. I think that's a great thing, and I think we're really lacking with those sorts of puzzle games now. Everything seems like too over the top, and, you know, everyone's waiting for the next Witcher 3 or anything, so it's nice to have something that isn't quite as involved as that you can pick up at any time and play, and I think that's what Bloodbreed really delivers, that retro feel and puzzle style game. Is this your favourite type of game to play, the puzzle?
It's up there. I'd probably say I'm more into the shooting games.
Yeah.
More so, and I guess more like RPG style stuff. But I do like the sort of like the key hunting and all that sort of stuff in games quite a lot. I
always remember when growing up, we used to play these games like Oasis for Shalimar and things like that, where you type in north, south, east, west, and then you type in get key, and that for me, it, like when I was playing, I was like, oh, that really I felt that emotional connection to it because of that.
Yeah, well, I actually a long time ago, I actually made a couple of text-based adventure games. Actually, that was probably my actual first experience with writing my own code, was making games like Zork and stuff like that.
Zork was just such a classic. I love that.
Yeah, me too.
So your production company is just you, right?
Yep.
So you did everything on the game?
Just about. I used some pre-made assets, but I do create a lot of it myself. And also I get like my sister, she's in the credits for doing some sound effects and stuff like that, but the majority of the actual like design and all that is done by me.
Great. And the voiceover at the start on the radio, is that you?
Yes, that is me.
I thought it might be. When you started talking to you just now, I was like, I recognize that voice.
Yeah.
That's funny. And your sister... So your sister did some sound effects, you were saying. Was that sort of Foley style sound effects? So that real sort of cracking of celery and things like that into microphones?
No, she didn't do that sort of stuff. most of like the screams and like the female sound effects of like when you run out of stamina, that's her, and every time you die, there's really loud screams and all that sort of stuff is her. Yeah.
Well, it's a great game. It's available now on the Nintendo Switch. Are you planning to bring it to any other system as well?
I'm not sure at the moment. I'm hoping to get a PC release sometime soon, but yeah, we'll see how that goes.
It's great. It's also great to see Nintendo. Nintendo is such a supporter of indie games and indie talent. So ever since the Switch came out, we've seen more and more games get released every week on the Nintendo Switch that are of that style, and I think it's a real, I take my hat off to Nintendo as a company and the Switch as a system to be able to really deliver on that front. Is that why you wanted to build a game for the Switch?
Yeah, Nintendo Switch is what I play like a lot of indie games on. It's a lot more than the Xbox and the PlayStation 4 seem to get. So yeah, I think majority of indie developers, the Switch is sort of the main thing that they want to get on.
And what about a mobile release at some point?
Probably not. I don't know what the performance would be like on mobile. I don't have any experience with mobile games.
Yeah.
But yeah, I would like to get into mobile development down the track a little bit, but we'll see how I go.
So what is next for you? What's the game you're working on now? Clearly you're not going to stop there. You're going to keep going and eventually make some epic masterpieces with some big companies further down the track. But what's next for you?
I'm currently working on a procedurally generated first-person shooter.
Oh, well, don't hold back. Wow, really?
Yeah. I've been working on it for about 2 months because since I made Bloodbreed, I made 2 other games.
Yeah.
And now I'm working on this one. I don't know how long it's going to take me. It could be 6 months. I'm not sure. I'd like to get out sooner than that. But yeah, I'm really excited for this one. I think it's going to be a lot of fun. Yeah,
it sounds good. And can we watch your journey along the way to developing these things? A YouTube channel that we can check out?
Yeah, my YouTube channel is Blake McKinnon Productions. I upload a video about once a week, usually on Sundays, and I pretty much just put up stuff that's like me talking about what I'm currently working on, what I've recently added to the game and all that stuff, and I occasionally do commentary videos on my games where I play them and I talk over them, and yeah, just stuff like that. Randomly I'll do like some other sort of game development stuff, but mostly it's to do with the games that I'm making.
Cool. Well, we'll make sure we put up a link to that on our website as well, so make sure you head there and click on that link. You'll find that at random30.com.au and dokidarko.com. Hey, Blake, thanks so much for chatting to us and all the best with the game. I hope it goes amazingly for you and the next few that come out too. So the ones you've done in between Bloodbreed and the shooter, are we going to be seeing them soon?
They're both out already. They were just a lot smaller, so I put them up for free. One's called Dead County, which is a Resident Evil style game with tank controls, and the other one is a Christmas-themed horror game called Sleigh Bells. And yeah, so yeah, they're both on itch.io for free.
I think you've got your genre all sorted. Thanks heaps for the chat.
Yeah, no worries. Thanks for having me.
And thanks so much for listening to this podcast. Subscribe if you can. That'd be fantastic. And supporting the website as well, dokidarko.com. It really does mean a lot to me. I do it all in my spare time. It's a thing that I'm passionate about, video games, pop culture, things like that, and tech reviews. So I hope you enjoy it. Thank you.
dokidarko.com